today, because I too served in the ATPF, along with my friends of South Ribble, Darlington, and Aberconwy. There, we were comrades in arms, and others, and of course, I remember the front bench, many of us. And I also pay tribute to our friend from North West Wiltshire and his team, and particularly to the team from the Army who helped to coordinate that brilliant scheme. This bill will put onto statute some really important practical measures, and I commend everything and I echo the points made by my honourable friends who've spoken about the basic necessity of, particularly of transferring the pension scheme to the MOD legislation. That feels absolutely important, widening the scope that the scheme has to reflect what's going on in wider society and to reflect the very admirable expansion in the terms of reference that the Office for Veterans Affairs introduced recently. But there is a wider principle, and I echo the point that my honourable friend from Aberconwy made earlier. The fact is that the experience of veterans today is not isolated, if it ever was, nor should it be isolated in the governing legislation, to their experience as a former soldier. They are integrated into our society. And the absolute obligation that we have as a society and as Parliament is to ensure that the support that they receive is properly interconnected and properly integrated in the wider service system. And that's why the Armed Forces Covenant was such an important piece of legislation, such an important statement by this country of the commitment that we owe to our veterans, to the people who have served this country, and crucially to their families as well. And it's another important point. This legislation will ensure that the veterans' families are properly in scope. So I recognise and I pay tribute to all the people who have contributed to the development of the Armed Forces Covenant, also to all of the veterans' charities and institutions which quietly, humbly, but doggedly, and in many cases for decades and decades, for 100 years and more in many cases, have served the cause of our veterans and their families. And I'm very, very proud to support a government which has put into statute these important principles. I am also concerned, as my honourable friend is, about the satisfaction rating of Veterans UK in recent years. There's a source of real concern there for us all, and I'm glad that with the appointment of the Veterans Minister and other rearrangements in Whitehall, it does seem that we are properly gripping that challenge, but we cannot rest until we have absolutely high satisfaction records, ratings among our veterans for the services they receive. So, Mr Deputy Speaker, I think that we have done a lot. There is a lot more to do. And as we consider, and I think the reference to future soldier is significant, obviously our country depends for its security on our armed forces. They themselves and our armed forces depend on their families and on the support that is given to them as human beings living in this country, members of local communities, with their children in our schools. And once they leave the army, they need to know that they will be properly supported through their pensions arrangements and also all the other services that they receive. And although I think we can all individually wish to see a larger armed forces, I pay tribute to what defence ministers have achieved in terms of getting further funding out of the Treasury for improvement in kit, in welfare, and in capabilities. I look forward to them succeeding in their undoubted efforts to grow the actual size of the army as well. I regret the diminution in manpower and headcount that is underway. I'm sure that as time goes on, as the economy allows, as public finances allow, we will see the army grow again. But I want to end by paying tribute to a group of units, formations, battalions, and I wonder if the Minister on the front bench knows what the following have in common: the Signals, the Royal Military Police, the Rifles, the Armoured Infantry Brigade, the Household Cavalry, the Mercians, the Royal Logistics Corps, the Royal Tank Regiment, Queen's Royal Hussars, REME, the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, the 1st Artillery, the Royal Welsh, the Royal Regiment of Fusiliers, and not forgetting the Royal Artillery. They are, of course, all located in the genuine home of the British Army, despite what our honourable friend, Member for Aldershot, might claim, in Tidworth, Bulford, Lark Hill, and the super garrison there. And I pay tribute to all of those men and women who serve our country and are based in my constituency, and their families. Thank you.
Jonathan Gannis.
Thank you very much.